came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We saw in the places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He's starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back off, but come on fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. You sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back for you with another new part of What If Asta Was Noctis' Reincarnation. This is part 10, and in the last part, Asta was trying to open up that of the combination case that he gained from that of the dungeon for basically an entire day since coming back, barely even able to get any sleep, being frustrated and snapping at all of his squad mates. As he finally opens it up, he soon notices it's Cloud's fusion sword. But unaware of who even Cloud even is, though. But it doesn't matter, he's getting a new weapon and thinking that he could basically fuse it with that of the power of the kings, but seems unwilling to accept it, but instead putting it into that of the 5-leaf Clover grimoire, as Libe basically tells him that'll now be turned, that all the blades that make up this Cloud's fusion sword will become that of anti-magic swords and the demon fusion sword. With now finally able to get some sleep, as he basically slept for an entire day, without the next day, he now has to give his reports about what happened during the dungeon alongside Noelle, Mimosa, Yuno, and Klaus. And of course, as always, Mimosa ends up having a crush on Asta. They soon give their report to that of Julius, who was waiting for them. He basically geeks out over both Yuno and Asta's magic, and soon told the reason on what it means to be Wizard King, as it is to gain results. And now they're going to be showing up for that of the distinguished ranking ceremony. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Arriving at that of a audience hall with several magic knights, some that look quite distinguished, while some that look somewhat, out of their depth. But, however, they're all here mainly as that of ranking up. Within, Asta saying, Distinguished Knight Ceremony, ranking up. Hey, can somebody explain what the, ranking system is? Because, you already know who my captain is. Within, Klaus can help but sigh, saying, Understandable, and I pity you. Asta, the Distinguished Knight Ceremonies, ranging from that of Junior Magic Knights, ranking from 1 to 5, then that of Intermediate Magic Knights, from 1 to 5 as well, Senior Magic Knights to 1 to 3, and then you have that of Grand Magic Knight, or Captains, actually. And above that, within, Asta saying, the Wizard King. Makes sense. But does the Clover Kingdom King surpass that of the Wizard King, since the Wizard King is literally nothing but a title? Within, that's when most saying, technically yes. However, given that the Wizard King is mainly in charge of all foreign affairs and has the biggest respect of that of the royal family, mainly the magic royal family, such as my family, the Vermilions, and Mimosa's family, the Silva, alongside that of the other, such as a third Magic Knight royal family too. So in personal honesty, within, Asta couldn't help but say, so basically, the actual king of the Clover Kingdom is literally nothing but a figurehead and just has power because he was born with it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. Then he can't help but think, reminds me of that of the Emperor of Niflheim, for example. On the surface, he seems like he was the one truly in charge, but in reality, he was nothing but that of a figurehead for that of the generals, and especially for that of Arden. Basically playing and manipulating him like a puppet on a string. And not to mention, Dad was on that string too. As Asta gets out of his thoughts, that's when Julius soon calls out each and every one of those who are ranking up, as it mainly being one by one. One from that of the Crimson Lion Kings being Leopold Vermilion, Mimosas' cousin. One from that of the Blue Roses, a girl by the name of Soul. From the Silver Eagles, Noelle's siblings, Solid and Nebula Silva. And 3 from the Golden Dawns. 2 of them are easily forgettable and not really worth talking about. However, one of them being that of a spiky greenette, Alexandrite, as they all ranked up through this ceremony. With then Julius saying, I expect all of you to do your best and to give it your and to continue ranking up and giving your all for the best of the Clover Kingdom. With all of them saying, sir. But then, soon Julius spoke up saying, also, there's that of a banquet for all of you who have ranked up. I also have brought guests, due to them having to give me reports after all. I expect all of you to show them the best of respect, as you would show me. Within, everybody noticing Asta, Noelle, Mimosa, and Klaus. With that of Klaus feeling somewhat nervous, same thing goes for Mimosa. Noelle feeling kind of scared, knowing that her siblings are there, and not really caring. As for Asta, he could already feel it, the intensity and glaring from them, even though they're not showing it. He can feel it. Within, Asta couldn't help but say, normally when I was royalty and being the prince, a lot of people always showed me the biggest respect, even when I was living as that of a commoner. But given that I'm no longer King Lucis anymore, this is what it feels like from that of a commerce point of view when not being royalty. Well, let's get this over with. As Julius says this, that's when his assistant, a guy with that of blue hair that's in the shape of that of a bowl cut, whispers over to him, as this being his assistant Marks, saying, excuse me, there's something I must get to after all. But please do dine and mingle as much as you can. You all earned it from coming this far. With that, Julius soon walks off with that of Marks. With Asta couldn't help but say, did he just leave us behind? Within, saying, yes, he did. With that, Asta saying, oh boy, this is going to be a nightmare. Couple minutes later, while in that of the dining hall, currently Asta is eating quite a bit. Within, soon Klaus saying, you seem a lot more chipper than before, saying, can't blame me. I mean, this food is not actually half bad. I've tasted better, but it's good in its own way. Within, still eating, as soon, couldn't help but say, whose food is better? Sister Lily's by any chance? Are you thinking about? Within, Asta swallowing down his food before then saying, well, you could say that. Her food is quite good too, I won't lie. As he takes another bite, couldn't help but think about that of his personal guard, Ignis. However, at the same time, he soon hears that of the certain members of those in the ranking ceremony basically talk bad about that of Asta and and Klaus and everybody else. As Asta hears this, within him couldn't help but glare at them for a bit before then sighing. Is then saying, I saw that look, Asta. I'm surprised that you're able to keep your cool, saying, trust me. I wouldn't mind basically unleashing my wrath on them, but to be honest, they're not worth it. It's something I wouldn't expect anything less from the lesserty of nobility after all. Well then, after saying that, A few of the nobles, especially that of Alexandria, couldn't help but get annoyed at that comment. But then, Mimosa coming over to that of Asta, offering some more food, saying, huh? Oh, thanks, Mimosa. Appreciate it. Before then, hearing somebody making a comment saying, looking down on them isn't worth anything. If anything, there's one person that had no value during that dungeon mission at all. And she's standing right here. But then, soon hearing that of water hitting the floor, as soon Asta saw this, and his eyes couldn't help but widen in pure, utter annoyance and shock. As Solid, Noelle's older brother, basically poured water on her. But then, Noelle, completely and utterly in shock and in somewhat fear, saying, Brother Solid, why would you? But then, saying, if anything, you have no right of being here more than anybody at all. Within, soon, her sister, Nebula, spoke up, saying, please, just because you had one success, you think you have the right to come back to that of the royal realm? Don't get a big head, girl. Within, saying, that's not, Within, soon, Noelle finally spoke up, as that of the captain and current head of that of the Silva family, saying, you disrespecting and basically existing in our family is the biggest disrespect of all. And yet, coming back here, you really have no shame, do you not, Noelle? Noelle, Within hearing this, Asta basically puts down his plate. Before then, walking over to the situation. Before then, soon, Noelle saying, I want you out of my sight here and now. Be gone to this place and never return in front of me. Within, as Noelle was about to listen, that's when, soon, you could hear somebody getting punched in the face and being sent flying. And within, as it being Asta punching that of Noelle. Within, soon, everybody is completely and utterly shocked, with even the captain of the Silver Eagles and head of the Silva family looking completely and utter shocked that he was punched by that of Asta. Within, soon, the captain of the Blue Roses, Charlotte, alongside that of her subordinate Soul, seeing all of this on the side, saying, here we go. Men will always act so irrationally after all. Within, Soul saying, ain't that right, sis? But I gotta say, that spiky black-haired guy did defend his comrade. And she is a girl too, so I guess it isn't too bad. As the tall, tan-skinned woman basically looks at that of Asta, she couldn't help but be a little bit shocked and drawn to that of his looks after all. Within, soon, Solid couldn't help but basically be shocked and have that of a look of pure and utter anger before shouting, you dare punch that of the captain of the Silver Eagles and head of the royal Silva family. Do you have any eye? Within, soon, Asta basically says one word, Armiger, Mode 2. Within, soon, and that's of the crystallized weapons of the royal arms, basically go straight for Solid, as Solid sees the weapons inches away from his body and face. Within, saying, what is... You have a lot of nerve doing that to Noelle, of all people. Not to mention, basically disrespecting her, looking down on her, having her completely and utterly feeling insignificant. For God's sakes, you're her family. Why would you disrespect her and basically belittle her like that? And be warned, your answer has consequences. As the aura alone from that of Asta, as his power of the kings is flaring quite a bit. For some reason, when Asta speaks, he almost has the authority and wording of that of a king. Not like that of Julius, and not like that of the spineless wimp that is the king of the Clover Kingdom. No, but a true king. However, one person basically snapped out of this, as it being Alexandrite, within him getting annoyed at the fact that a commoner is looking down on that of nobles, and not just any nobles, one of the three royal families of the Clover Kingdom. But then he began to use his grimoire and his sand-binding magic, saying, "Know your place, you common!" But then, without warning, one of the royal arms, being that of the trident of the oracle, stands right in between that of Alexandrite, as he was about to use his sand magic to basically consume that of Asta. Within Asta, with that of his left hand up, saying, straight at that of Alexandrite, saying, "I don't want to hear a damn thing from you, you hypocritical bastard. You talk shit about that of my brother, alongside that of his comrades in Mimosa and Klaus. They were fighting for their lives just as much as everybody else as well, and I refuse to allow you to disrespect their hard work. Not to mention that mission wasn't all black and white as you all want to think it was. Try to disrespect me and my friends again and see what happens." But then, hearing this atone from that of Asta, he couldn't help but feel completely and utterly in fear, as there's only one person that made him feel submissive like this, and that was the captain of the Golden Dawn himself, his captain, Vengeance, as the other two members of the Golden Dawn couldn't help but be actually somewhat impressed and somewhat terrified at the same time, with Asta looking back at Solid, with then saying, "Now then, give me a prime example why you disrespect Noelle and basically belittle her like that. And like I said, give me your reasoning, and this may go a lot more smoothly than it is now." But then, Solid feeling completely and utterly in fear. Before then, Noelle unleashing his aura, saying, "You have a lot to say for that, boy." Within, Asta could feel it, as it is overwhelming, but he's faced worse before, after all. I mean, he's literally faced against the Astrals of Eos, to be honest. Within, soon, everybody could feel the overwhelming pressure. Within, soon, Asta, on the other hand, saying, "So, just for one little punch, you get knocked on your ass, and now you think you have the right to basically talk down on me. So, care to explain why you belittle that of Noelle?" Then saying, "Why should I answer a commoner like you who is about to die?" Saying, "Because," within soon, snapping his fingers, as copies of all of his royal arms are at him and also at that of their sister, Nebula, as well. Saying, "Unless you all want to die, give me a reason." Within, Sue, Noelle, having that of the courage, saying, "Asta, stop, please. It's not worth it. Don't do this." Saying, "Now I get why you always have that of self-confidence issues, Noelle." Within, hearing this, he could up say, "And why you struggle with that of your magic. I always thought that your family was just a bunch of pricks who didn't think that you could handle it all, by yourself. But now that I get it, they're just a bunch of assholes that belittle you for all your time. Because of that, you had no full control over your magic properly. Magic is how you see yourself and see those around you. When you struggle so much, it can affect you, especially in battle. And especially on what happened when we first met, after all." As Asta remembers when she basically freaked out when she was training, when Asta noticed her, and she engulfed herself in that of her water spear, causing her magic to go out of control, and she was basically having a panic attack. Then soon, Noelle begins to use his own magic, as it being mercury magic, as that of the liquid begins to engulf that of the crystallized blades as they shatter. Before then, soon, he basically kicks Solid away, before then using the remaining crystallized weapons of Armature Mode 2 to basically consume that of the mercury. Within, Noelle, completely and utterly shocked. Before then, right in front of him is Asta. However, he has that of his grimoire out this time, with having that of the Demon Dweller sword right at his throat. Within, saying, "He moves so quickly and fast, I didn't even see him coming." Within, soon, everybody else is completely and utterly shocked at this. But then, soon, Asta saying, "Now, answer me. What made you give the right to belittle Noelle like this, to the point that you even trying to force her out when she has the right to be here? Answer me, so-called captain of the Silver Eagles." As the words from Asta seem disrespectful, however, they still have that of an air of authority and superiority as well, to the point that Noelle, basically out of instinct, answered saying, "She is a disgrace to our family. She is the reason that our mother is dead." After hearing that, Asta couldn't help but have his eyes widening, with Noelle basically having her head down, as it almost looks like she's about to cry, as Noelle continues saying, "Not only she killed our mother, she has no control over her magic from birth. She has no control over how to use it properly. She is a disgrace, an embarrassment to that of the Silva name. She is not even worth being called my sister. That's why she is," with then dropping the Demon Dweller sword, and without just that of a single moment, Asta punches Noelle once again, but this time really hard, to the point he basically craters into that of the wall itself. Within, soon, everybody was completely and utterly shocked at this. Even Flangolion, who basically saw all this on the side, who was actually prepared to step in case it got too hairy, within, soon, thinking, I know the real reason why he does this, but even so, he's going a little too far to keep this lie going for her own safety. It's really starting to annoy me that he needs this reality check." Within, Solid and Nebula seeing this, as they both are still in completely and utterly shocked that their captain and brother, one of the most powerful mages that they know, just got punched right in their face so easily. Within, soon, Asta's not even stopping there. Within, as Noelle basically coughs up a little bit of blood, and even notice that his, nose is actually broken, with even that of his, braid, that the braid that he has over his face is unraveled, as Asta grabs Noelle by that of his Magic Knight robe and slams him back inside the cratered wall, saying, "For all of that, you belittle your sister? For all of that, you basically denounce her? You show her no love, no care, no support, no nothing, out of a sense of hatred, grudge, and pride? You're her big brother. Your duty is to basically protect her, look after her, teach her about the world, and even guide her when she needs it the most. All you and your other siblings are supposed to do that for your younger siblings. But instead, you belittle her, look down on her, treat her like shit, even to the point that she even suffers from basically a forced self-entitlement that she doesn't even believe herself she deserves." Within hearing that, Noelle was completely and utterly shocked that Asta basically saw right through her that easily. Of course, the reason that she always acts like that of the typical royal and high-end classic noble is mainly just to basically prove that she deserves to be a Silva, deserves to be that of royalty as a whole. Even being part of the Black Bulls, she still likes to keep it going, but yet, to her, it's nothing but an act, just a joke, just something to try and make it seem like she's still close to her family in one way or another. Asta always saw through it. He never believed it to begin with. He always saw through her, and yet he put up with it because he probably thought that was just something to cope with. That, Noelle began to continue crying even more, but instead of crying of feeling inferior, feeling humiliated, and feeling saddened that her family will never accept her, these are tears of joy, finding at least one person who cares deeply about her this much to put up with that of her antics. Within soon, dropping that of Noelle, saying, I can't respect somebody like you. Eat none of anybody from that of the Silver Eagles to begin with. You disgust me. However, even though Asta said all this, on the outside, Noelle seemed like he didn't really care. However, in reality, on the inside, he actually felt like he needed this. And internally, you could actually feel like he wants to cry, but he has to continue having an image, after all, the image of a strong leader. But in reality, just a brother who feels like he has failed his younger sibling when she needed him the most. With Nova and Solid going over to that of Noelle to see if he's okay. Within soon, Noelle saying, Asta, within, wiping the tears from her face, saying, you don't need to feel like you're alone anymore. Remember, you got me and the Black Wolves by your side. Nothing is ever going to change that, Noelle. Remember that. With that, she couldn't help but smile, saying, thanks, Asta. Within soon, somebody coming over to that of Asta as it being Flangolion. Within saying, your actions are a little bit too violent, young man, but defending your comrade is kind of understandable. Within soon saying, alright, lecturing me is understandable. To be honest, even I think I went a little bit too overboard, but I hate it when people disrespect my comrades and friends. I'm not the kind of person to just sit by and just let it happen, after all. Then, Flangolion couldn't help but smirk, saying, wise words to live by. Saying, and you are, by any chance, never knew your, saying, please, let me introduce myself. As Flangolion bows his head for a bit, saying, my name is Flangolion Vermilion, captain of the Crimson Lions, and also head of the Vermilion family too. It's a pleasure to meet you, young man. Then I was saying, you're the head of the Vermilion family? But then, soon, somebody coming right next to that of Flangolion, as it being somebody that looks somewhat close to Flangolion, but with somewhat short, spiky red hair. Within, he couldn't help but look at that of Asta, saying, ha, you're really one crazy ass bastard. I will say this. Asta, was it? Within, saying, yeah. My name is Leopold Vermilion. And you, to not only be able to hold your own against that of my brother's rival, but to even knock him out with just a single punch. You are truly something else. Starting today, I, Leopold Vermilion, wish to be your rival. Within, hearing this, Asta blinking multiple times, saying, huh? With even Noelle completely caught off guard by that, saying, wait, just like that? You wish to be his rival? After saying that, Leopold just couldn't help but laugh at Noelle's question, saying, of course, somebody as strong as him, and he's basically almost the same age as me? How can I not? He's got a unique form of magic and also a weird sword that looks quite something else. But then, see, as Asta realized, he dropped the Demon Dweller's sword, saying, oh crap. But then, Liebe in his eternal mind saying, yeah, thanks for basically ranting like a dumbass and for dropping one of your anti-magic swords, idiot! Saying, yeah, I completely forgot about that. As he begins to tap into that of the anti-magic through his body, before then, as the anti-magic from that of the Demon Dweller's sword reacts, as it soon flies back to that of Asta, catching everybody completely off guard. Within him, bringing out his grimoire and putting it back inside of it. Yeah, sorry about that. Within soon, Flangolion get up and say, impressive. Then Leopold saying, that even shows it more. I can't wait to basically surpass you. Within, Mimosa couldn't help but go over saying, I'm so sorry about him, Asta. I told him about you, but he didn't really believe me, so he saying, so now he believes you because of what I've done. Sorry about causing you trouble, Mimosa. Within, she blushing before shaking her hand, saying, no, you caused no trouble at all. If anything, I should thank you for defending me and especially Noelle. Within, Mimosa saying, well, I'm fine. Don't need to worry. I think I feel at least a little bit better than I was before. Noelle having that of a genuine smile than that of the, arrogant and somewhat, forced entitlement smile that she always wore. Well, Mimosa couldn't help but be happy for that of her cousin, at least that she's no longer, at least pretending anymore. With Alexander, couldn't help but say, "What? Why? Why the hell are they showing him respect? He disrespected nobles, especially royalty from the Silva family. Why would that of Captain Fingolion show that damn commoner any respect after the disrespect he gave them?" Because his words behind his actions speak louder than that of, well, titles after all. Was then looking at that of Yuno, was soon saying, "What was that commoner boy saying? I could care less if you think of me lowly or anything else like that. It's a person's actions behind their words that matter. The reason on why they show him respect is because he doesn't let titles and status basically get in the way on what he sees as right and unjust. He saw his comrade basically being harassed and being treated like dirt. He acts. That's just the kind of person Asta is. To him, consequences mean damn if he sees somebody he cares about is hurt." Then, soon, Alexander saying, "That makes him dangerous even more." With then, soon, that of Charlotte, the captain of the Blue Roses, couldn't help but smirk, saying, "Yami, you really know how to pick them after all. I expect nothing less from the man I love, of course." But within, she looking at that of her subordinate. Within, Soul couldn't help but look at that of Asta, as normally she would basically don't really care that much about that of men or anything like that, or try to be that of independent on her own. It's the reason on why she respects her as that of her subordinate and let her join that of the Blue Roses. However, Soul looks completely and utterly shocked and somewhat infatuated over that of Asta. Within, she can up say, "No, she wouldn't." As she begins to internally laugh to herself and can't help but say, "Well, then, looks like my little subordinate is finally growing up and has a crush of her own." Within, Solid spoke up saying, "This is unacceptable. Why would you with the Vermilions basically befriend this damn commoner? Especially after what he did to my brother. And especially defending that walking." Within, soon, Asta glaring saying, "Say anything about Noelle again and see what happens. You saw what happened to your brother." Within, soon, Solid say, Do you have any idea what you've done? You can make an enemy of that of the Silva family by the action that you've taken." Saying, "So what? I'll do it again if you disrespect Noelle again. I could care less if you even see me as a traitor. I take my bond seriously, unlike a certain family." Within, hearing that, all of them couldn't help but be completely off guard, except Noelle. Within, soon, somebody coming through that of the banquet hall, and out of a hurry saying, "We have an emergency!" Within, everybody looking at that of the man saying, The Clover Kingdom capital, it's being under attack." With that, everybody was completely and utterly shocked and surprised, with even Asta saying, "It's one thing after another, isn't it?" As the next arc begins now. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, how did you guys like this? Did you guys like on how I basically had Asta bitch out that of the Silva family? Because honestly, this is something I've always wanted. And to be honest, Noctis is the kind of guy who would basically value bonds more than anything, both familiar and in Eternal as well. I mean, look at his relationship with that of with Ignis, Gladio, and also Procto. They were literally his brothers, not by blood, but by bond. And this you able to see on what happens when that of Asta, if anybody from that of the Black Bulls or even Yuno was basically hurt. He basically goes all out on them. So again, mixing both Asta and Noctis's, qualities on basically valuing bonds, trust, and loyalty, especially familiar on that of Noctis's side, given everything he went through with his father. then you got an Asta who basically will do anything, and I mean anything, for those who he has that of a strong ties to. Plus, I will not lie, and I'm going to be completely honest, this was kind of a way to scratch that one itch I had for Black Clover for years now. And that was basically wanting to sock the hell out of Noelle. I mean, come the hell on. Anybody who knows, and this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler warning because, and personally, I do not care if any of you guys who know or do not know, that the whole reason on why Noelle was basically treated like crap throughout the entirety of the Silva family was to basically protect her due to that of the devil Beelzebub actually killing their mother after all. And then, when even finally killing her, thanks to Noelle of all people, who basically freed the Silva family from that devil, none of them actually bothered apologizing after all of the shit that they've done to her growing up as a kid. And yet, when they finally apologize, they do it after killing their mother again, when she was brought back to life by that of Lucius, after all. And then when I saw this, I basically said, are you kidding me? After all these years, you finally apologize? People want to say that Itachi is a bad brother. Honestly, to be honest, Noelle, Solid, and fucking Nebula are the worst siblings in anime. And I will stand by that. That is a damn fact. Any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification key to date my videos uploaded to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, side channel, other channel, Cash App, and Patreon. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, hope you all take care. Take it away, Shiro.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!